What are the fundamentals of progressive Christianity? Well, that is an interesting question because we can't really answer it. That question has assumptions. It has a projection of premises onto progressive Christianity, which we don't even have of ourselves. What's going on is people who are fundamentalist Christians or conservative evangelical Christians, which is pretty much mainstream Christianity in the United States since about 1980, they often will impose onto others their own biases and ways of doing things onto others. So they're doing that to progressive Christians, assuming we must have fundamentals of the faith just like they do. To remind us, going back to about 1910 or so, fundamentalism rose as a response against modernity and the liberal Christians responding to it. And they came up with 5 essentials of the faith, including things like the inerrancy of Scripture, the literalness of the virgin birth of Jesus, the substitutionary theory of the atonement, that Jesus died for us so that we could be saved, took on a death that was meant for us. He took that on. The bodily resurrection of Jesus and the authenticity of miracles, the realness of the miracles. Those are fundamentals for the fundamentalists. They must think we have those too. The thing is, we don't. Now, the Center for Progressive Christianity was created in the early 1980s, and in most of its duration, and it eventually morphed into progressivechristianity.org, we've had 8 principles, 8 points of progressive Christianity. And you can find those on the internet, but they were never intended to be a litmus test or that everybody subscribes to each and every one of them. And to help shift away from people's projections onto us all the more, we've changed the language to the core values of progressive Christianity. So 5 core values, and those now are worded as believe the following following the way and teachings of Jesus can lead to experiencing sacredness, wholeness, and unity of all life, even as we recognize that the Spirit moves in beneficial waves in many faith traditions. 2, seek community that is inclusive of all people, honoring differences in theological perspective, age and race, sexual orientation, gender identity, expression, class, or ability. 3, strive for peace and justice among all people, knowing that behaving with compassion and selfless love toward others is the fullest expression of what we believe. 4, embrace the insights of contemporary science and strive to protect the earth and ensure its integrity and sustainability. 5, commit to a path of lifelong learning, believing that there is more value in questioning than in absolutes. So those are values likely held in common by most people who identify as progressive Christian, but they are not a litmus test. You don't have to agree with any or all of them. What's likely true for many progressive Christians is we embrace the diversity of God's people, including sexual orientation. We embrace the diversity of God's people, including cis and trans and non-binary gender fluid. We tend to embrace care and concern for all of God's creation, not just humans, but all of God's creation. We take the Bible too seriously to take much of it literally. We follow the religion of Jesus more than the religion about Jesus. But those are broad brush statements that many of us resonate with, but no one of them is a defining point. So your voice is welcome. We're a work in progress. It's a community. It's a movement. Why don't you add your voice to the cause and let us know what you think matters as we move forward as progressive Christians in the world?